In the church age, the four gospels were not doctrinal material. They were not used to teach. The four gospels and the book of Acts, they were referred to, but they were not primary sources of teaching or information. The sermons of the book of Acts majorly were all salvation sermons. And we saw it from chapter 1 to verse chapter 20. They were all salvation related messages. They were all talking about, how the church evolved and how people got saved. The four gospels and the book of Acts were eyewitnesses. In fact, the apostles took time to make reference to them as such. 2 Peter chapter 1 verse number 16.
For we have not followed cunningly devised fables, when we made known unto you the power and coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, but were eyewitnesses of his majesty.
Now when he says we were eyewitnesses, it doesn't include us here. None of us here was an eyewitness. Peter is referring to himself, and those that were there were eyewitnesses of his majesty.
For he received from God the Father honor and glory, when there came such a voice to him from the excellent glory, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased.
So Peter here is making reference to the Matthew chapter 17 account, where Moses and Elijah appeared on the Mount of Transfiguration, and where Peter said, let's build 3 tabernacles. And then Moses and Elijah disappeared, and a voice came out of heaven. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him. So Peter is now saying, on that Mount of Transfiguration, we were eyewitnesses of his majesty, because we saw that he received from God the Father honor and glory. A voice came to him from the excellent glory. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. And this voice which came, verse 18, this voice which came from heaven, we heard when we were with him in the holy mount. Look at the intelligence of the Bible. You have Genesis to Malachi, which is prophecy, types, and shadows pointing to the Christ. Then it is sandwiched between the epistles and the eyewitness accounts. So it's not just prophecy, it's not just promises. Now there are eyewitnesses who saw the fulfillment of the prophecies and the promises, which now graduated into the content interpretation of the prophecies and the promises in the epistles. Very intelligent. The eyewitness accounts are critical when it comes to historical data.